Hey everyone, this is David. Welcome back behind the velvet rope. Let's just get right into it today because we are joined back by the one and only psychic Robbin.
Hey, hey, everyone.
What's going on? How are you?
Oh, I'm doing good. Trying to stay indoors as to not get sick, as we were talking about with the flu. So I hope everybody who's watching is healthy and happy and keeping themselves hydrated and away from anybody who is coughing. Just stay away from people.
So many people in New York City are sick. Like I was telling you, my
Aw.
concierge was out for like days and she wants me to come down and say hi to her today. And I'm like, I have no time in my schedule to get sick. I just don't have
Yeah, yeah.
time.
Oh, it's not fun.
And everyone who wants a reading, I could say go to Psychic Source. We still have $20 for the first 35 minutes. And for everyone who wants a second reading, you get 50% off well, all you have to do is enter code VELVET. If you pay $50 for the second reading, you get $25 free. And if you pay 30, you get $15 for free.
Very
These are all
good.
good deals. So everybody needs a reading. I would get a reading every hour on the hour, like I say, and I really do mean that. Who doesn't want to know about themselves? I don't know. Some people, I guess, don't, but I don't know.
Well,
Does that mean I'm a
no.
narcissist that I would love to just sit and hear about myself all
Uh-uh.
day?
No, that does not make you a narcissist. That makes you human because as humans, sometimes do you see the orb? As humans,
Yes.
sometimes we don't want to walk in the darkness, right? So I always tell everybody getting a reading is like having a flashlight. You can just kind of peek at what's ahead and make your decisions in your life from that point forward.
I agree. I feel I find it very empowering.
It
So
is.
I agree. And I do see the orb. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, well that's really telling. This is something we're going to start with something. I didn't think we were going to start with this until about 5 minutes ago. This before we got on the air. This just happened, although it's a few days later when everyone's listening to this. Somebody we've talked about this person before. Her name is Karen Huger, and she was born May 3rd, 1963. Now, before I get into anything that is going on with her, and there is quite a bit,
Oh.
let's just start with, you know, what do you what are you feeling about Karen Huger?
Okay, say your first name one more time, please.
So her first name is Karen and her last name is
Mhm.
Huger.
Aaron. Ooh, okay. So the first kind of emotion that I got, um, y- y- you know how when you're in a vehicle and you're not paying attention, then all of a sudden you look up and you realize you just went through a stop sign and you kind of get that pit in your stomach. That's what I'm getting with her. Um, like something is going on that she doesn't know how to handle. It came out of the blue, kind of scared her a little bit. Although I will tell you, looking forward, I actually feel like whatever's going on is going to help her wipe some kind of slate clean. Like she's going to be able to handle it, deal with it, and actually come out on the end of it better than she was at the beginning of it.
I literally have chills. Listen, it's not my goal here to get people that don't believe things to believe them, but this is not preordained, people. We don't know the topics and you don't know what's going on Bravo. Well, Karen actually pretty much did go through a stop sign and had crashed her car
Oh,
because she was
sorry, I'm
driving.
not laughing because she
No,
did.
I like literally have chills. So she crashed her car. I don't know if there was an actual stop sign, but I assume there was. And this all happened but a lot of other things you said are very resonate too. She crashed her car. This happened probably like 6 months ago, 5 months ago, 4 months ago. So it turns out that she's already had a trial and it was her fourth DUI. She's tried to tell everyone it was her second. It turns out it was her fourth. So she just got sentenced yesterday. The prosecution was asking for 6 months only,
Ooh,
and the
yeah,
judge gave her 2 years
two
sentence.
years.
So
I've
even
heard that.
more, right? So 2 years. So basically, yes. So she has 2 years sentence, and like when you say she's facing something she's not used to, that's what it is.
Well, and to be quite honest with you, as you were talking, I kept hearing that this, and I'm fixing to sound really psychic here, okay? Um, this was the universe's way of waking her up because I think if she wouldn't have gotten sentenced and she would have just got a slap on the wrist, it would have ended tragically for her later. So this was actually an intervention. So this is I mean, I hate that she's, got to serve or whatever, but you do the crime, you do the time. And I think that this is a good way to get her clean and sober and allow her to find herself again. So
And and you see what? You see this as like you see this as if she wasn't sentenced, it would have been not a good
it,
ending.
it no, and I don't like to read um stuff like that. Like I choose to give the good, the bad, and the indifferent because I would expect that, and I do expect that when I get a reading. Um, and when I look at her, like if she would have, they would have just given her a slap on the wrist moving forward, the behavior and the issues behind the behavior would have continued, and it would have been tragic. She would have either hurt herself or hurt somebody else, and that stuff you can't take that back. You can't make it better, but this actually gives her a chance to make it better. And I actually feel like she's going to be able to spend a lot of time getting the help she needs. Like therapy is a big deal for her. She's got some deep rooted issues, one being um, feeling like she is a little bit invincible. But if this is her fourth, of course she's going to feel like that. Like if I went out and was drinking and driving, which I would not, but if I was and I got pulled over, my ass would be done. Um, your butt would be done. We would be done.
We would be
But
done.
we would be so done. But I think that this was an intervention. I think it was God, the universe, waking her up, giving her the
Yeah.
opportunity to be better.
Yeah, I don't think if she got, I mean, the first one, I don't know when it was, like 2008, but the judge said before the ink was dry on the first one, where she got a slap on the wrist, she actually got the second one like right away before all
Yeah.
the legal mess of the first one was
Uh,
even over. Did you, that tragic possible ending that you're feeling, was that like far off, or did you see that as like imminent, like something
that would be
soon?
imminent. Because when I look at her, okay, so I'm going to talk about addiction for a second. When I see addiction, um, it's not a gradual staircase. It moves quickly. It's like an escalator. It just continues to go. I feel like she was at the end of it, so the only thing that she could have done was fall. And I think that her addictions stem from some deep rooted, uh, well, there was some abuse somewhere, but there's some deep rooted issues that she's not dealing with and hasn't dealt with. She drinks, and that's been her escape. Well, now she can't. So now she's going to have to deal with herself. I mean, God love her. I don't, I hate when something happens like this, but I also feel like, actually, to be honest with you, can I tell you something, David? It
Please be
pisses me off.
honest.
It pisses me off because I have a daughter who passed away, who was an alcoholic. She didn't die in a car wreck, but it pisses me off. Like that's why I moved my daughter out of my home knowing she had an issue is because I knew that if somebody can't get help like that, they're going to end up hurting themselves or killing somebody else. So it kind of pisses me off that she did that. But I also feel love for her because I know that her issues are deeper than the whatever she's drinking, deeper than the alcohol. And I do think she'll come out a better person. I think she's eating crow, as my grandmother used to say. She's going to have to face this now she can't put a band-aid on it and pretend like it doesn't exist. Best thing that could have happened for her or
I'm,
to
s-
her.
I'm sorry to hear about your daughter.
That's okay.
I've been pretty hard on her myself. Her deep-seated issues, she has said, and look, I'm not judging grief, right? Because
Right.
it,
Right.
it's
Absolutely don't.
she is 61, and her grief is because, well, she said with all this that now, mind you, the first two DUIs were before this happened, so this can't even be an excuse. Like, she lost one of her parents, I think, in 2017, and the other one in 2018. Again, I'm not judging grief. We all handle it differently, but to me, I personally have no like. again, it's a natural progression of the world that you lose your parents. Not
Right.
easy to deal with. It takes, I'm not putting it, but 2017, it's 2025. Like, give me a fucking break.
Well, and I'm with you on that. I mean, gr grief is a hard thing to overcome. No matter who it is, right? If you lose, if a friend would you would be grieveful, but addicts like her, they will use whatever excuse they need to use to make their actions to where people have empathy and sympathy for them. So for me, when somebody comes to me and they're in active addiction or they have somebody who is in active addiction, spiritually speaking, I say wipe yourself clean from that. If you can't, it is destructive. It is a destructive pattern. She is I'm sure she misses her parents, but that is not the reason why she drinks and drives. I mean, if that was the case, then call a buddy and have them come sit with you in your apartment and drink all you freaking want to. Don't get behind a car, and because a car, as Dr. Phil says, I love Dr. Phil, vehicles are a missile going down the road. And if you know, so I have no empathy for the drinking. I have empathy for the pain that she feels.
Right.
So, but it's deeper than that. It's not the loss of the parents, although I know it's hard. It's not that. It is the fact that she does have some pain. She does have some abuse somewhere in her energy, but she's also spoiled and she was able to get away with it. So, clue to anybody out there, stop giving people third and fourth chances. Give them one chance. If they do it again, get them help. And then if they do it again, throw them in jail.
Yeah.
Simple.
I mean, we talked, I think, about, I never can remember because I talked to Psychic Leona and we've had other psychics on. So I think I
Right,
talked with you, that's what's going on with like Kyle Richards and her sister, Kathy Hilton. Like they have a sister, Kim Richards, and they have just, they're done. Like they won't, there's, I mean, mind you, these women that I just mentioned are in their 60s and 50s and
right,
they're just done. They're like, we just can't do it anymore. Like we have turned our backs on our sister because right. We've had so much pain. Like we literally can't help her unless she wants to
right,
get help.
right.
So that's where they ended up. Do you see, because look, I'm a lawyer. I don't even know if you know this. I don't practice anymore, but jail is really, it's one to punish you for the crime. It should fit
Right,
like do the crime, do the time. But that's how some people get 6 months, some people get 10, 20 years. Like, it's based on the crime. That's how there's a
right,
formula. But also jail is based on the amount of time you're there to rehabilitate you. Her sentence of 2 years is only 1 year in jail and 1 year out, still sentenced, but out, like at home. So let's just talk about the year in jail, which she's already serving. Like, do you get the sense, like, where is she? Like, because jail doesn't rehabilitate everyone. A lot of people come
no, it
out
doesn't.
a changed person, and a lot just come out and are like, I fooled that. I know people that have gone to jail, and I know that I have one good friend who has come out completely changed, like, gets
Yeah,
it. And I know other people that are like, oh, honey, I know
right.
what to tell them to get out early. Like, where do you see Karen? Like, is she, to your point, like, this saved her life? Great. Like, is she gonna really use this time and get it?
Okay, so an alcoholic's brain is different than somebody who's not drinking. It takes at least a year for the alcohol or the brain chemistry to balance out, right? The only reason I know this is because I talked to the coroner over my daughter. Um, I do think that she's going to try to fool the system at first. I think that she has a little bit of a holier than thou attitude. Well, right now, I mean, she's probably been beat down, so she might not be thinking that, but her ego is bigger than her um, real self, real life self. And so she's going to have a very hard time in the beginning. Like you said, I guess she's going through that now because she's already in. But I give her about 4 months, 4 or 5 months until she starts to really her brain starts to the fog kind of goes away a little bit, and she starts to utilize some of the programs within the system that she where she can start to try to heal a little bit. When she comes out, she's going to isolate for sure. Um, but and I see her continuing on, not saying she won't fall off the wagon a time or two because she probably will. That seems to be in her personality type, but her guides are saying that she will really try. And I feel like she may gain some trust back from some of the people that where she had lost it. So that I just think it's going to be good for her.
You
Let's just pray
do.
that after the fact, after the I don't know what it's called, probation, parole, whatever it is, once she comes out, I'm hoping she continues that. I, I would highly suggest her not be in the spotlight for a couple of years after. I mean, I think that would help, but it's not my call.
Because that's the thing, like you're in there for a year, then the second year is not probation. The second year is the sentence. You're home. But I mean, if you don't do all the things that you have to do at every minute during that year, you will be thrown back in jail. Like, that's where I think it's going to be harder. Like, do you get because you're going to have the world around you. Yes, she's going to have to blow into a breathalyzer or the car won't start.
Right,
But you still, I mean, there's more temptations when you're literally at home with your husband and your
right.
life.
I don't. I mean, let me just double check her.
Okay.
I mean, like I said, I think she's going to fall off the wagon a couple of times once she gets out. Um, However, I don't see her going back after this. Like, I don't think she's going to break her uh, contract or whatever with the state and have to go back. I do think that she will probably get a couple of really hard hits from whoever is over her to straighten up. I think they're probably going to put her in continual like Alcoholics Anonymous or whatever. Like she's going to have to do that. And I don't think they're going to let her do that just one on one. Like I think they're probably going to make her do groups. That they're really stripping her down to the bare bone because that's not some, she's more uppity in the way she thinks she should get special treatment. She will not get special treatment from the system. The system is not going to give her special treatment. So she will be humbled some. She
Do
definitely
you
will be humbled.
do you think like I don't know, I would like to think that although I do love the finer things in life and everyone thinks certain things about me, I'm aware of my situation. So we're going to actually have someone on this podcast that went to the actual jail that she's going to.
Oh
And I
wow.
mean, so I don't want to give too much away, but when you get there, she went right from the courtroom to she was taken away. Like when you get there, like you go from the comfort of your own home or whatever you're wearing to. I mean, I don't even want to get into it. She's not going to like a federal camp where, Martha Stewart went. Like this is
Right,
like
right.
county jail. So I don't want to give away too many of the conditions, but now, I mean, you're going to be thrown into like really, like you said, there's no special treatment. Like, is she just gonna get it and understand, no, this is your mattress. There's no sheet to this mattress. You put your head down. Or because look, if you fight the system, it don't go so well for you. I
No, the
mean,
system fights back.
correct. And you won't
I,
win.
I don't. No, she's not. She's not going to be happy about it because she's been a little pampered in life, and the system failed her. I hate to say this, but they failed her twice. They let her go twice. So I think she's definitely going to have a hard time. She's not going to make friends easy. Um, I don't see her, kumbaya in the courtyard or whatever with the girls or the women. I think that she's going to have a rough time. I think that's why she's a little more humbled when she comes out. Now, by the end of it, I think she'll be doing a lot better. But no, she's no. I mean, the bathroom situation. Um, my mom went to prison when I was younger, and I remember her telling me when she got out uh, about the bathroom situation. Like, you have no privacy. There is no privacy. You bathe, you shower or whatever, and somebody is watching you. And I think she's going to have a real hard time. And I think she has a tendency to have a little bit of a smart mouth once she gets comfortable, once the fear kind of wears off. Everybody's always fearful when they first go in, and then get a little, you get more comfortable or whatever with your surroundings. I think she's going to have some issues for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, because you could, right, like there's other people from these Bravo shows that have gone to jail, and I mean, nobody wants to, or prison, but
Right.
there is a way to assimilate and make friends. And I mean,
Right.
you
For
are
sure.
there. Like it's not, you might as well just give it up. And if you shower in front of everyone or go to the bathroom in front of everyone, you might as well just accept that because that is your
Right.
new
Right.
normal for at least the amount of time you're there. Is she so look, there is this gray area of like she was on the show. It's called Real Housewives of Potomac. She's obviously not returning next season, but do you foresee, regardless of what you recommend, and you don't recommend her on the spot, like there is a world in which whenever she gets out, like this was just season 9, which just passed, she won't be on season 10. I don't even know if the year at home she even could be on it. So let's just say season 11 or 12. But like, do you see them holding her job or wanting her back when she gets out? I mean, they're not going to hold the job, they're going to fill the role. But when she gets out, do you foresee her going
I
back?
feel like at a limited capacity is what I heard. So I don't think she's going to be able to go back in the role that she was in or like the role that she was in. I think they may have her on to talk about kind of what happened and how she's doing. It just feels very limited to me. I'm pretty sure um, because I don't feel like just the drinking and driving was an issue. I feel like there was some issues with the I don't know what to call it, her team or whatever on the show.
Castmates.
Yes, her housemates. I feel like there was some issues there. Um, and I feel like Bravo is just not going to want to repeat that. Um, so they will fill her spot, but they will have her on in limited capacity. So
But you don't see it as like, I'm getting out and here's my full-time role, where she did make a lot of money.
I'm sure she did, but no, I just don't see that.
Do you foresee like there's one woman in particular? Like she does have friends from the show. Sometimes when the chips are down, you find out who your friends are.
Who your
Some
friends
really,
are.
and some surprise you. Like the last person you really ever would expect to be there in a time of need is.
Shows
And
up. Yeah.
yeah, and other ones you're like, well, we had the greatest relationship all of a sudden. You want nothing to do with me because I have an orange jumpsuit on or whatever it's going to
Right.
be. There's one woman, like, do you see like there's this woman, Gizelle Bryant? Do you see her as a good friend? Like, do you kind of see her as standing by her throughout this
Um,
process?
I feel like Giselle, as long as she is trying, I feel like Giselle would stand by her and be her, a support when she's out and home. I feel like if she's seeing repeat behavior, not really, because I feel like Giselle would, has a lot to lose. So I don't think she would put her career um, and stuff on the line just to be a friend. But she would be a good friend as long as when she comes out, she truly tries. Like there can't be any repeating patterns.
That makes sense. Well, moving on. I mean, that's I could spend. I mean, we spent a while on that, but this is all very interesting. So, that's the main topic of our show. But there are some other. We'll do something quick. There's a show, Real Housewives of New Jersey. We talked about that before. There's a
Mhm.
lot of fake lies that came out about the future of the show, and like Bravo has already debunked that, and like there's no decisions made, and we don't know anything. And Andy Cohen has even spoken out. We have talked about Teresa Giudice here before, and like her future, and you were very clear that for 2025 and even further, you see good things for her, and you see her on the network in some capacity. Well, speaking of New Jersey housewives, there is someone else there, which we have not talked about. This person was also, like Teresa, a full-time cast member. So nothing's decided, and it's going to be a while before it is. But this woman's
Right.
name is Melissa Gorga. So it's Melissa Gorga, and she is
Mhm.
born 3/21, 1979.
March. Okay.
So what are you feeling
Ooh.
with Melissa?
Um, a lot of changes coming up for Melissa. So I guess you want to know if she's going to come back?
Well,
Like, is that what you're?
that was one of my questions. Yes.
I do. I see until it's full circle with her. Yes, I do see her kind of coming back. She's got a lot of changes though, opportunities. Um, like this year for her, there is quite a few opportunities coming up. And I'm assuming it's something to do with her family, like it's a family thing. But I do see her back on the show. And just her okay, so here's a little thing. Some type like she's going to reinvent herself. Like when she comes back, her personality is going to seem a little different. I don't know. I kind of feel like it might be pushed a little bit, like, this is what needs to happen in order for her to continue or order for her to get the X and O on her paycheck. Um, but I really don't see a whole lot of problems with her coming up. She likes what she does, and she will do whatever she needs to. But I'm a little concerned with this opportunity that's coming up. It looks like April, May, uh, because that may throw a little bit of a kink in the Bravo thing. And I actually think it may be with Bravo. So it may throw a kink in the Desperate Housewives thing. But yeah, she would come back for sure.
And the thing in April, May, what you see it more as like a TV thing, not like a
It is a T.
business. It's a
Yeah,
TV
no,
thing.
it's definitely a TV thing, and it's like there's family involved. Like I don't know, I'm not a screenwriter or a TV person, so I don't know. But however that is, it's like a family thing. Does she have a daughter?
She has a daughter. Yep.
Okay, it has something to do like her and the daughter doing something. But yeah, yeah, and it would be a good opportunity. However, I would like to tell her if she watches your podcast, don't take it because it's not going to be as big as the one you're already on.
Oh, she watches this podcast. I don't know if she admits that she watch. Well, let me put it this way. She will never admit that she watches or listens to this podcast, but she listens to every word. Let me just tell you.
I'm sure she does. I feel the energy. So yeah. Don't
It
lie,
could,
girl.
right, like don't lie, Melissa. It could be maybe like a spin-off, like they
It
do
could
offer
be.
spin-offs,
Hmm.
maybe they're going to come and offer her some type of show. Look, there's a lot of, and then when you say with the New Jersey that she'd have to do something before she returns to get all the X's and O's on the paycheck, like her and Teresa, who's her sister-in-law, like they don't speak at all. Now,
Mm,
Melissa would probably like they don't speak at all. That's why the show's gone for like 2 years because Teresa refuses to speak to Melissa. She's married to Teresa's brother. She's not speaking to the brother either. So
oh,
they're just like, we already had a season like that. It was fine. It doesn't work. Melissa, I think you could just, I think she would speak to Teresa for the sake of the job if someone said, just speak to her and fake it. The problem is the audience isn't dumb and we are way past that.
right.
Teresa also has said, I don't care. I will not speak to her. Now, but Teresa is not in a position to just turn down $1 million or $2 million. But I don't
Right.
think, I mean, I think that's what, just like Karen in jail, this is kind of like jail because there's no show and there's no paychecks. I don't know what Bravo's hoping. I think they're hoping that maybe I mean they still say they'll never speak again. So maybe the thing that you talk about happening is that she'll somehow they'll start speaking, or maybe their plan is to offer like Melissa a show in the hopes that that will forget about New Jersey and then Teresa can come back without Melissa because Melissa will already have her show. I agree with
Right.
you when it resonates with me when you say whatever this thing is, don't take it because it will never be as big as the other thing. It never is. I can tell you from
Mm.
many options of spinoffs, it never is as big. It never works.
Well, and I'm sorry, what is her sister's name again?
Teresa, Giudice,
Yeah, I just had my brain just stopped.
that's
Yeah,
okay.
I feel like I mean, I feel like they need to talk. Like I think it would make well, it would definitely bring some peace to the family if they would, but also just for their fans and for Bravo. I mean, the thing is, yes, the shows are about these wives, these desperate housewives, if you will. It is about them, but if it wasn't for Bravo, if it wasn't for their audience, they wouldn't have it. And just to give them a little bit of understanding, um, in this because I think they're too high to hear some things. But seriously, people want to see you argue and fight, and then they want to see you get over it. They people respond to that. People are needing that right now. They need to see kindness in the world. And I think if they would do that, it would make the show a lot better, even if they had their squabbles. If they could just overcome it, Bravo would be much more relaxed about the situation. And when they're relaxed, people get TV shows and you get to continue to do whatever. But yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I mean that really is the formula for Housewives. It really is conflict resolution, conflict resolution,
You
conflict
know what they
resolution.
need? Sorry.
A psychic.
Spirit, yes, they need a spiritual mentor. Bravo needs to hire a spiritual mentor to go in and talk to these women. They need to get their head out of the clouds and realize that no matter how important you deem yourself or how rich and famous you are, you're still a human being. And I just kind of feel like they need some meditation. They need to get right with their spiritual lives, and they need somebody that they can talk to that they can trust. That would make a difference. So
Are you
bravo, get on it.
are
I am
you
offering my
offering? I was gonna
services.
say, do you want to come up to New Jersey? I'll stop by. I'll be here in New York City when you're here. Do you want to come up and do that?
I would definitely do that. Yes.
You can use the Behind the Velvet Rope podcast as your launch into the Real Housewives of New Jersey.
There, I would do that. I would totally do that.
Do you think, I mean, because Melissa, I really do believe, like, look, they're never going to be friends. Like,
Right,
most of these shows do fake it. Like, on a lot of these shows, they do fake it. I don't even mean, like, so the people could, but the audience would have to believe it because it's gone so far with how much hate there is. I mean, this isn't like a fight. This has been going on for
right.
over a decade. I'm going to spare you. Teresa herself was in jail. Her first husband was in jail and then deported, the father of her children. But like, I really do believe that it is. I mean, Teresa has said, I will never speak to them again. And Melissa doesn't necessarily say that. So it really is on Teresa not taking
Right.
sides. But like, do you see it? I mean, ever? Because Teresa says
I
never.
know what Teresa's saying, and I know, Teresa is a strong, dominant female. She's definitely alpha. And however, she does value family. Um, and believe it or not, I know some of you people are not going to believe this, but she really does have a very kind heart. And I think that she does what she has to do to keep the show. And I think drama is good for the show. I mean, hello. Uh, but I think that under the right circumstances, if it was just the two of them, there were no cameras, nobody was involved, I think there could be a conversation. I think they need to talk about their issues. Like seriously, they just need to sit down and have a conversation because you don't have to like somebody to be civil. You don't have to like somebody to be able to get along. And I think that they need to come to the point of agreeing to disagree and loving anyway, because they are family. As much as Teresa may not like it, they are family. And in the end, folks, family and your closest friends are all you really have.
And I mean, her and the brother, the parents are not alive.
Right.
Do you see that being like a 2025 thing? Like Melissa and the brother? I mean, it would have to be Melissa and her brother and
I
Teresa.
do.
You
I
do.
do. And I think that's coming in the summertime. Like there's something going on in August. Like when I look at Teresa in the month of August, well, actually, the word I heard, people, is reckoning. There's some sort of reckoning coming. It does have to do with family. So I think it's probably going to blow up. You're going to see a lot of drama. They're going to probably scream and yell at each other. And then at the end of it, there does seem to be a little bit of peace. Now, they're probably never going to be best friends. They probably won't call each other to go get their nails done. Um, but I feel like there may be a little bit more civil energy there, a little bit more respect.
And when you say reckoning, because my mind goes to places like what, something major bad is going to happen in the family that's going to bring them
Um,
together.
I don't think it's necessarily bad, like, somebody getting sick or something like that. I don't feel like. I feel like it's like it bubbles to the head. There's a reckoning with her brother that opens up a whole dialogue of conversations that get very intense, very heated. But by the end of it, it feels like all the trash has come out. They're just going to have to learn to agree to disagree. But I will say this. My most important, like when I look at it and listen to her guides, the most important thing is not the sister-in-law, it's the brother. It's learning to respect the fact that he chose this woman to be a part of the family, and Teresa just being a little bit more bendable. And you don't have to, again, you don't have to love what somebody does, but if they're in your, and you don't even have to like them, but you do have to have some sort of mutual respect and love for your family, which is her brother. And I do kind of think she's going to come into that. Like, I'm going to give you a little bit about Teresa. I was actually thinking about her last night because we've talked about her before.
Yeah.
Teresa's going through a shift. She's going through a spiritual shift right now. Um, my guides call it a purging. So you're going to start seeing people pull away from her that probably need to be not in her life anymore. And she's going to end up sitting at an empty table, not really, but metaphorically. And I feel like that's going to kind of push her a little bit to really want to start making some stronger connections. She needs stronger connections in her life. And her brother, even though they don't see eye to eye, I think is the key to her feeling a little bit more fulfilled.
And people are going to pull away from her that are friends or that work for her or all of the above.
Well, definitely those that work for her. There's going to be a few that fall off. Friends will start to pull away a little bit. Those who those who are not contributing to in her life, you will start to see people falling off. Yes,
Interesting. Well,
cleaning
we'll have
house.
cleaning house. So she's going
Yeah,
through a spiritual shift.
she is.
As we wrap up, we have a new segment that we're offering at the, I mean, we'll get to one of these questions. You guys now, audience, I've mentioned this, everyone could DM me or you could leave comments on YouTube or on Instagram, wherever you can leave comments on Patreon. If you want a reading, give me your question because we're doing an audience question. We're only going to have time to get to one of them. We're going to start with someone we actually know who is an audience member. So that's the new thing. So everyone listening, also go to Psychic Source, download the app, enter code Velvet, pay $20 and get a 35-minute reading, or you could get multiple readings that total 35 minutes. But anyone that wants a reading, leave a comment on YouTube, Instagram, Patreon, or slip into my DMs. It's a free reading for right here on the air. We're going to start with someone that we know who is an audience member. Her name is Sarah Fraser, and on a she has one child, I can tell you that, but
Hmm. Hmm.
she has a husband. She wants to know about her like fertility journey. Like where is she with this? And then I can get into more details. Like, do you see another child, or some people just have one child and that's what they're meant to have in the world?
Well, I think that okay. So when I look at her, I do feel like there's supposed to be two children in her life, which is congratulations on that. I feel like I don't know if they're doing like IVF or whatnot, but I feel like there's some type of intervention that needs to happen in order for her to carry. Um, and it's going to be tough. I'm not going to lie. Not that it's going to turn out bad because it won't, but I mean, you're talking about bed rest, something to do with like the fluid. So there may be a little bit of issues with that. However, her guides just want her to know she just needs to keep on. I feel like they have like two more times, or they went two times and it didn't happen or whatever. Her guides are just telling her to try again and then to take care of herself, bed rest, water, sleep, not picking up on the little one all the time, which is going to be hard. But yeah, I do see another one. So two for her.
And do you see this second child, like you said, naturally or like an egg donor or IVF? I believe they've kind of tried some combination of all of the above, but
Yeah. Um,
like,
I do kind of feel like there needs to be an egg donor for a more viable option, if you will. Um, but yeah, she definitely has to have some help. Unfortunately, sometimes nature needs a little kick in the butt, and with this, she just needs to look for an egg donor. I would definitely try an egg donor again
and
for sure, Sarah.
you would, and do you see this as a 2025 thing too? Like as like something's gonna happen this year where she will get pregnant, or do you see
I
it?
I I do kind of feel like it's going to be this year. I feel like it's going to be a little later in the year. You're looking at the end of summer, so the end of August into September. I hear some celebration around her, so I feel like at that point she is already pregnant with the child. So just keep trying, girlie. You got this.
And do you foresee this will be my last question because she is now starting this foster, which I didn't even know how this worked. Like she lived in Los Angeles, like a
Uh-huh.
foster program where I didn't realize like you take kids in and you then give them back to the parents. I guess maybe people are listening to this
Yeah,
and they're like, that's obviously how it works.
right.
You can see what a sheltered world I live in because I do not want any children. So, like, do you, but I guess sometimes you don't give the child back, like, if no one comes forward. Do you
Right.
see that as is that gonna, I'm not even saying she is looking for that. I just said when she told me about this, I'm like, I bet you maybe, like, do you see that as being anything permanent or no, you see an egg donor only?
I do, well, to be honest with you, when you first asked me the question, I heard there's other options to get a child, like adoption. I don't necessarily feel like that's what they're going to do. I feel like she'll be able to have a child. However, I have to tell you, it would be fantastic for her to do that foster program, and it's almost like they're waiting for the families to the moms and fathers to rehabilitate, get themselves clean, get a job, all of that stuff. I think that would be so fulfilling for her. She is a natural healer. Her energy is absolutely stunning. And she's also an empath. So that would be very fulfilling for her. Although I don't necessarily, well, hold on. There may be a little boy that her and her family fall in love with that they would consider adopting. So there may actually be three. Um, but she will definitely have another one herself. So if she's wanting a house full, that's the way to do it.
Wow. Okay. Well, that's good.
So, but yeah, good for her. That makes me happy.
She seems pretty serious. I had a different reaction. I was like, what? Wait, what is this? So I'm just, do you get the vibe from me that children are just not, hey, at least I know that about myself, right? Because lots of people have children that really shouldn't. They're
They
horrible
should not.
parents.
Well, that hence the foster care systems. Absolutely,
Right.
absolutely. No, I mean, yeah, you are probably not ever going to have a child, which is good because you don't want them. Just look at other people's and tell them they're cute and go on about your business.
I
Kids are a lot of
have
work.
right, I have a nephew, and now that he is older and in
It's a lot
college,
of fun.
like now,
Yeah.
right now it's different. When they are 0 through, I don't know, like 17, I don't know, it's just not for me. I wish it
It's
was.
definitely
It's
being a
not.
parent is not the a faint, for the faint of heart, because let me tell you, it is like this. And God bless me, I lost a child so to addiction. So and I've that was the worst thing ever. But I do also have a son who is fabulous. I've got fabulous grandkids, and my wife and I are now going to have another one. I know I'm old, but we're still going to do it. She's younger.
Congratulations to you and your wife.
Thank you, thank you. But if it was just me and somebody said, "Oh, why don't you get a kid?" I would run backwards because yeah, kids can be hellions, just FYI.
I give everyone tons of credit that can do
Yes.
it and has done it and
Well, we need more people, to come
to
out
do
and
it.
start helping fix the planet, as so these kiddos that's coming up are special. The
Totally.
souls that are being born now are just special.
Well, we're
Not
gonna
that
have to
all of them
talk
are, but
about your upcoming child on our next
yes.
episode.
Yes.
Everyone should sign up and get a reading with you, but any of the psychics are great. You just click
Yes.
reading now, and if they specifically want to connect to you, they type in ROBBIN and they can
Mhm.
find you.
Yep, I'll be
So
there.
thank you so much. Thanks for talking about Karen. Thank you for your time, and do not get sick
I
again.
I will not. I enjoy it, David, and thank you so much. I will talk to you guys later.
Anytime. Talk to you later. Bye.
Bye.